Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Sorry, I just assumed everyone was coming back. I don't know why. Today I'm gonna tell you what I'm most excited to read in 2024. It's crazy in itself because I feel like 2023 lasted 3 seconds. You've heard everybody say that so far, but like seriously, I don't know where everything went. Like it went by so fast in my opinion. Like I don't, it's crazy. Anyway, let's get into it. I actually have my notes because I know exactly what I want to talk about and exactly what I'm excited for in a formal setup way. My first one, this is in no particular order except for this one book. I want to read Yellowface. I want to read Yellowface so bad. I'm going to tell you what it's about, don't worry. I know very little. I'm pulling up a summary. But this is like, I really want to read this. I don't have a copy of it or else I would have showed you. But Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. It says, okay, I'm just going to read this to you because I know like a little bit of background, just not like everything. Athena Liu is a literary darling and June Hayward is literally nobody. Same girl. White lies when Athena dies in a freak accident. June steals her unpublished manuscript and publishes it as her own under an ambiguous name, Juniper Song. Dark humor, but as evidence threatens June's stolen success, she will discover exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. Deadly consequences. What happens next is entirely everyone else's fault. With its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface grapples with questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, as well as the terrifying alienation of social media. R.F. Kuang's novel is timely, razor-sharp, and eminently readable. That is what I'm excited to read. I've heard good things about this book. I'm very excited to read it if I can get my hands on it. Which I could, but like I don't want to buy any more books. It's just what's going on right now. Anyway, so I feel like that's like at the top of my list. So Yellowface is like the one that I want to read and the one that I don't have. Anyway, so the rest go in no particular order, I feel like. Next on my list is Fourth Wing. I'm very late to this. I understand. I feel like it was a thing at in summer? The beginning of the year-ish is sort of when I feel like, unless I'm totally crazy. It wasn't last year, right? No, it was like, it was prevalent this year. I can't remember. But, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And along with that is Iron Flame. I don't know why I had this idea in my head that, the Fourth Wing series was going to be a trilogy. Listen. I feel like book series in general, it takes a lot for me and I always want to read them all at once, and this is like, you know, coming out like I feel like every year. This is 2 books in a year, I feel like. But my back is like hurting. But I found out semi recently that it's a 5-book series. I did not know I was going to commit to that, but I've heard such good things about Fourth Wing. Not so much about Iron Flame, but I'm really interested in Fourth Wing. So I feel like I'm going to read this in the beginning of 2024. So that'll be nice. Yeah, I've just been curious about what the hype is and what everybody always goes on about. I don't know much except that there's dragons and I think it's an enemies to lovers. Is all I really know about it. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Yeah, I'm assuming you know what Fourth Wing is about because everyone talks about it. I don't really want to dive deep into like what it's about. I kind of want to be like surprised a little bit. So yeah. Next is, I feel like I'm going to put it in this section, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That was right. Again, another really popular like booktube, book talk book. I feel like I'm telling you what I want to read, but I feel like I also have to explain what it's about. And most of these books, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really know. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo I think it's like Evelyn Hugo gets interviewed by a journalist about her life, and she specifically wants to talk to this one journalist, won't talk to anybody else. Why? Don't ask me, haven't read it, no idea. My hypothesis? This might be like totally wrong, okay? I haven't read it, I know nothing about the book, but like maybe it's her daughter. I don't know. Maybe it's like the daughter of like somebody that she dated a super long time ago, and she wants to meet with her because they just have personal ties, is what I'm thinking. You know, I feel like that's either that or she's like a really good journalist, so sorry. So I'm gonna read you the little synopsis. Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth of her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly on the top of the world. Her husband has left her and her professional life is going nowhere. Regardless of why Evelyn has selected her to write the biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. There's more, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I feel like that's what I just said in like more eloquent terms. Next on my list is Lessons in Chemistry. I've seen the book everywhere. I feel like every time I go into Barnes & Noble, it's always like popped up on like a shelf. Propped up on a shelf. And I stare at the cover and I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Like, I don't know why the cover was giving me Hollywood Socialite, but it was. I just found out that that's kind of what got me interested, I'm not gonna lie. I saw a little bit of the trailer that they have for the Netflix show. I don't know if it's Netflix actually. It might be Hulu. Or Apple. I mean, don't ask me. It's a show now, I believe, and it's about like, from what I've seen from the trailer, it's this girl, Brie Larson, chemistry major, and she has a rival, so I'm guessing to lovers, whatever you want to call that, rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, academic rivals to lovers maybe is a more better term. Here's the synopsis. Kenneth. I just said Kenneth. Sorry. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. Slay. Slay the house down, mamas. My friend says that all the time, and I don't know why it just came out of me, because I always thought it was like such a weird thing to say, and it just came out of me. I don't know where that came from. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality, except for one. Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at 6. From chemist to cook. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, parentheses, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy because, as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook. She's daring them to change the status quo. So excited for that. Lessons in Chemistry is a book that I also want to read. Anyway, let's move on. I also want to read The Count of Monte Cristo. I do have a physical copy of it. It's just not here with me. So I would hold it up, but it's not here. So anyways, I'm so mad at The Simpsons for this, okay? Listen, I was watching The Simpsons one day, okay? Casual. You don't expect much from The Simpsons. Until I had known nothing about the Count of Monte Cristo. So I sat down to watch The Simpsons, and they're telling like stories like in a car, I think. I don't remember why, but they're like telling stories, okay? And I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Lisa because it sounds like something she would do. She tells the story of Monte Cristo. Except the characters in Monte Cristo were the Simpsons. So Homer was the Count of Monte Cristo.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just can't.
It told me the entire book in about like, what, 10 minutes of their show. I was so mad. I was so mad. And I wasn't by myself. I didn't stop watching because I was like with someone. I was like, oh my god, like I've been meaning to read this book for this happened like months ago too, and I was so mad, and I was like, maybe I'll forget about it, like forget the details so I can like go into this blind, but that's like impossible now because like The Simpsons, Homer, I'm looking at you. Maybe I should be looking at Lisa. I don't remember who it was, but it made me so mad. It made me so mad. But the gist of it, I think, is that the Count of Monte Cristo was, I want to say falsely accused of something, and then he was put in prison. And while in prison, he is like trying to plot his revenge to the man who accused him, which in the show was Mo, I think. Mo, the one from the bar. Yeah, it was Mo. I want to say it was Mo. Never did I ever think that The Simpsons would ruin the plot of a book that I wanted to read. I was baffled. I was baffled. Anyways, let's move on. Next on my list, The Odyssey. If you remember, the last video I posted, I filmed that ages ago though. I was gonna read the Count of Monte Cristo. I was gonna read The Odyssey. I don't want to say DNF The Odyssey. What is this? Apparently I drew a picture. Yeah, I don't know. Did I leave off on page 50? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say I DNF'd this because I totally didn't. I just got distracted by a book that I wanted to read more, and I wasn't totally like in the headspace to be reading The Odyssey. I was in the beginning, and then I got distracted and I wanted to read something else. So I'm not gonna say I DNF'd it, but technically I DNF'd it. I was into the story at the beginning, and then I was just I wanted to read something else. So I picked up something else, and this one just kind of got lost in the shuffle of things, and then I wasn't really in the mood to read The Odyssey. But now, right now, speaking of like right in this moment, I really want to read this. I'm not going to read it though because I'm reading something else. But yeah, I want to read The Odyssey. If you don't know the story of The Odyssey, it is about, I know I know it in Spanish, Odiseo. Odysseus, I want to say. It's about Odysseus. I actually, why I got into The Odyssey is because I kind of always wanted to read it, but I actually read the Song of Achilles. And had I known that the Song of Achilles was a retelling of the Iliad, I would have read the Iliad first. I just like to read the source material first and then, you know, go into like a retelling of the story like later, you know what I mean? So this actually kind of goes hand in hand with Circe, because so the Song of Achilles was a retelling of the Iliad, and Circe is mentioned in the Odyssey. I'm not sure if it's a retelling. This is from the New York Times. It said, a bold and subversive retelling of the goddess's story that manages to be both epic and intimate in its scope, recasting the most infamous female figure from the Odyssey as a hero in her own right. When I heard that it had something to do with the Odyssey, I was like, stop right there. I want to know her lore. And here comes the Odyssey. So these two are also what I want to read in 2024. The Odyssey first, and I feel like after I read this, I'm going to go directly into Circe. Unless my brain has other plans for me, but these are two of them that I want to read. So next, this is kind of getting into my classics. I really want to get into classics. So I want to read Jane Austen. I want to read Emma, Pride and Prejudice, and Little Women is something else that I also want to read. I'm very excited for Little Women. After watching the 2019 adaptation of Little Women, I was obsessed with Little Women. But I haven't bought any of these classics because I want to find a good, like, cover. Like, I want to find, like, a good edition of each of these books. That's what I'm waiting for. Really, that's all I'm waiting for because I'm very interested in Emma, in Pride and Prejudice. Sorry, that took me, like, forever to, like, say. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know nothing about Pride and Prejudice. There's a movie with Keira Knightley. Never watched it. Have I been tempted to? Yes, I have. I've been very tempted to watch Pride and Prejudice. And I really want to, but I was like, okay, we're gonna stop right there. I'm gonna read the book, then we're gonna go into the movie. Mr. Darcy. Who is that man? I think he's the man with the sideburns and the brown hair. I don't know what this was. Other than that, I know nothing. I know they dance at one point. One has pride, one has prejudice. Where did I hear that? I don't know where I heard that, but I'm quoting that from somewhere. They're like, she has pride or she has prejudice. I don't know which one she has. I'm guessing she has pride and he has prejudice. That's what I'm thinking. But really want to read Pride and Prejudice. Emma, there's a show with show or a movie? Might be a movie actually with Anya Taylor-Joy. Love Anya Taylor-Joy. Want to read the book first. And Little Women, saw the movie. Fell in love with the movie. Please. Not gonna lie to you, I did cry. I was watching it with people and I said, I don't cry in front of people. So after that, I went upstairs, got ready for bed, and then I cried. Why did I cry? I gave up everything you didn't like, and I was happy to, Joe. Fine. But I figured you'd love me. That is why I cried. Anyways.
I did. It's fine. I figured you'd love me, Joe.
Performance of a lifetime. Hire me, Netflix. I can do it better. I can do it better, Netflix. I swear. I swear. Hire me. Hire me, Netflix. Sorry. Going in hand with what I just did with my, like, Timothy Chalamet, Laurie situation. I don't want to read American Psycho. I've been wanting to read this since 2021. Have I watched American Psycho with Christian Bale? No. Have I seen people dress up as Christian Bale for Halloween? Yes. For, like, Patrick Bateman? Yes. Do I know what it's about? I'm not gonna lie to you, I wanted to read this. So I know in, like, Goodreads you can, like, read a preview. So I was on my way back from I don't know where on the plane. And I was like, I'm gonna read this. So I read the preview. Looks interesting. He seems unstable. But I really want to read this. I was gonna read it in October, but I read nothing in October. I was reading Normal People, but, like, you know, the beginning of October, didn't read anything. So I have, like, all of these, like, horror books that I wanted to read in October, and I let myself down. Patrick Bateman is handsome, well-educated, intelligent. He works by day on Wall Street, earning a fortune to complement the one he was born with. His nights he spends in ways we cannot begin to fathom. He is 26 years old, living in his own American dream. That is the blurb. Okay, next on my list is I'm thinking of ending things. I watched the movie when it came out on Netflix in 2020. I feel like that was pandemic time. The movie was crazy. I don't remember much of it. I just kind of remember things being, like, insane and, like, it was weird. And I knew it was a book at the time. I just watched the movie. I was confused. And I, of course, watched the kind of, like, those ending explains videos, which always comes up in, like, complicated movies. I watched those. I was explaining the ending, and then here we are 3 years later, and I forgot what it was even about. So I'm thinking of ending things. It says, now a Netflix original movie, this deeply scary and intensely unnerving novel follows a couple in the midst of a twisted unraveling of the darkest unease. You will be scared, but you won't know why. I'm thinking of ending things. Once this thought arrives, it stays, it sticks, it lingers, it's always there. Always. Jake once said, sometimes a thought is closer to truth, to reality, than an action. You can say anything, you can do anything, but you can't fake a thought. That's deep. existential crisis in the making. And here's what I'm thinking. I Don't Want to Be Here, in this smart and intense literary suspense novel. Ian Reid explores the depths of the human psyche, questioning consciousness, free will, the value of relationships, fear, and the limitations of solitude. Tense, gripping, and atmospheric. I'm Thinking of Ending Things pulls you in from the very first page. And never... Sorry. My read now isn't expanding. I'm not even literally kidding you. It's just not expanding. We're gonna leave it at that because I don't... my phone is not working with me today. Whatever. But I feel like you got the gist. Like, it's kind of like a suspense, like, thriller sort of situation. Really confusing. Really, like, you're gonna wonder what's going on. And like I said before, I love ambiguous endings. And I love confusing things. And I love not knowing what's going on. So, I'm excited for that. Not as much as, like, other things, but, like, I want to read it. It's, like, something that I want to do this year. Next year. So, yeah. The next book I want to read in 2024 is Thistlefoot. I've heard this on, I feel like, a few channels, and I've heard good things. I know it's a retelling of something. I just don't know what it is. I think it's a retelling. I might be wrong. So, Thistlefoot. In the tradition of modern fairy tales like American Gods and Spinning Silver comes a sweeping epic rich in Eastern European folklore. A debut novel about the ancestral hauntings that stalk us and the uncanny power of story. The Yaga siblings, Bellatine, a young woodworker, and Isaac, a wayfaring street performer and con artist, have been estranged since childhood, separated by both resentment and by wide miles of American highway. Why did I think it was going to be like in the past? American Highway. It's giving modern. But when they learn that they are to receive a mysterious inheritance, the siblings are reunited, only to discover that their bequest isn't land or money, but something far stranger. A sentient house on chicken legs. I haven't even read the description, so this is like new to me. Thistlefoot, as the house is called, has arrived from Yaga's ancestral home in Russia, but not alone. A sinister figure known only as the Long Shadow Man has tracked it to American shores, bearing with him violent secrets from the past. Fiery memories that have hidden in Isaac and Bellatine's blood for generations. As the Yaga siblings embark with Thistlefoot on a final cross-country tour of their family's traveling theater show, the Long Shadow Man follows in relentless pursuit, seeding destruction in his wake. Ultimately, time, magic, and legacy must collide, erupting in a powerful configuration to determine who gets to number the past and craft a new future. An enchanted adventure illuminated by Jewish myth and adorned with lyrical prose as tantalizing and sweet as briar berries. Thistlefoot is an immersive modern-day fantasy saga by a bold new talent. So Thistlefoot, that like description was like totally new to me. I just thought, I don't know, the cover, I see the legs, but I don't know what I thought by that. But chicken legs. Who knew? But I want to read it. Oh. Some of these books is like crazy because I hear good things and then I forget what they're about. And I know I want to read them. I just totally forget like the genre and like what it's about and like everything. Not like the genre, but like in total like the plot and main points that I should know going into this is what I forget. So after Thistlefoot, not after, but like what I have noted on my phone, this is going to be very controversial. I want to read It Ends With Us. You're going to say, Nicole, why do you want to read that? Listen, I want to know what the hype was with that book. I feel like there was like a hype. It Ends With Us, you know, I saw that they were filming the movie with Blake Lively and somebody else. I don't know who. Raphael. It was Raphael from Jane the Virgin. I saw that they were like filming it and like so many people were like questioning things about like this, and it seemed like a very beloved novel by the group of people. And I don't know much about Colleen Hoover. I don't even know if I'll read it, honestly. I'm not a romance girly. I feel like the structure is obviously the the romance structure is like, you know, beginning, meeting, being together. Third act breakup is what I have a problem with the third act breakup. It happens like every time. Um, but I don't know. I haven't, maybe recommend a few romances to me if you're a romance person, but something good, gripping, I feel like would be nice. Um, to me, I feel like romance has like so many tropes and it's done so many times that I feel like, and I might be totally wrong about this, like there's there's different stories, but I feel like in one way or another it's just all the same thing. Please recommend some romance books. Next, I want to read If We Were Villains. I actually started this, if you can believe it. I spent a lot of time in since July to October trying to decide what to read. I was in a back and forth situation. I picked up, what did I pick up? I picked up this. I picked up a few other books and I read a few pages. I wasn't into it until I got to Normal People and I was like, you know what? It's short. We're gonna get through this fast. Didn't get through it fast, but we got through it. But yeah, this is really interesting. I've heard a lot of great things about If We Were Villains. What I know about If We Were Villains, I know the main characters in the book study Shakespearean theater. I've read a few pages. It had to do with Shakespeare. I think it's a murder mystery. I might 100% be wrong about that. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day he's released, he's greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colborne is retiring, but before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. As one of 7 young actors studying Shakespeare at an elite arts college, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, and extra. But when the casting changes and the secondary characters usurp the stars, the play spills dangerously over into life, and one of them is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. So that is If We Were Villains. Very interested in that. I have a general idea, okay? That's all we can ask for. Next, I want to read Kiki's Delivery Service. It's a very abrupt change. I've never read anything like Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm not really sure what it's about. Not that it's a surprise to you that I don't know what it's about. I know she's a witch. She's a girl with the delivery service. I think it's a movie. I want to say it's a movie, and yeah, it is a movie made in 1989. Nostalgic fans of Miyazaki film and newcomers alike soar into the modern classic about a young witch and her clever cat that started it all. Half-witch Kiki never runs from a challenge, so when her 13th birthday arrives, she's eager to follow a witch's tradition. Choose a new town to call home for 1 year. Brimming with confidence, Kiki flies to the seaside village of Koriko and expects that her powers will easily bring happiness to the townspeople. But gaining the trust of the locals is trickier than she expected. With her faithful, wisecracking black cat Gigi by her side, Kiki forges new friendships and builds inner strength, ultimately realizing that magic can be found even in the most ordinary places. Blending fantasy with the charm of everyday life, this enchanting new translation will inspire both new readers and dedicated fans. Kiki's Delivery Service. I was just interested one day and I've stayed interested since then. I'm not sure where I heard about it from. So next on our list, and lastly, is the Enigma of Room 622. Yeah, 622. It's a murder mystery. One night in December, a corpse is found in room 622 of the Hotel Verbier, a luxury hotel in the Swiss Alps. A police investigation begins without definite end, and public interest wanes with the passage of time. Years later, the writer Joel Dicker, Switzerland's most famous literary ingenue, it's that word again, arrives at the same hotel to recover from a bad breakup. mourn the death of his longtime publisher, and begin his next novel. Little does Joel know that his expertise in the art of thriller will come in handy when he finds himself investigating the crime. He'll need a Watson, of course. In this case, that would be Scarlett, the beautiful guest and aspiring novelist in the next room, who joins in the search while he tries to solve the murder puzzle, the plot of his next book. We're gonna cut it off there. It's just, all you need to do is a murder mystery. It's a novelist staying in the other room, and he's just trying to figure out the story of his new book and, what's it called? Solve the murder with his Watson. Also, something else maybe I should mention. I do have the entire collection of Sherlock Holmes, which is something that I do want to get into. It's not in my space. It's actually, like, outside in my room. But that is something else that I want to read. Want to start reading. I feel like it would be nice. Those are all of the books that I want to read in 2024. Very excited for all of these, I want to say. I want to say that Yellowface was the one I was most excited for, but after reading the descriptions for almost everything, I feel like I'm very excited for everything in general. Yellowface is actually like making it done. I kind of want to read Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm just very excited for 2024. I feel like that'll be the year for me that I really just start reading everything that I want to and have the time and make the time to read everything that I want to. So I'm hoping we do all of that. I can't wait for the wrap up for 2024. I feel like it's going to be a good year. It'd be nice if it was a good year. I'm very excited for 2024 and excited to take you along with me and talk about books. I'm very excited. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with me. And if any book caught your eye or anything, let me know. We can read it together and we can talk about it. If you're excited, let me know what books you want to read. Maybe give me some reading recommendations. That'd be great. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.